Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. I know we got March Madness on the brain around here, an opening day a week away, but too much football to not bring this guy on. He is now working on behalf of Your Call Football and doing all sorts of fun things out on his Twitter and always giving the wisdom of Solomon Wilcots. We welcome him in from the Queen City of Cincinnati. Boy, we have major change here in the Ravens organization, right? I mean, I'm here in town, and I know what's up, and I need a scorecard, Solly.
You're right. But, hey, you've got this exciting young quarterback, and I think that's where the NFL has really made a significant shift, Ness. In order to get these young guys out on the field, you've got to begin to tailor the offense around their skill set as opposed to trying to put a square peg in a square hole, or I should say square peg in a round hole. We're tailoring it to these young quarterbacks. That's why you saw Lamar Jackson play at a phenomenal rate, win a lot of games, save a lot of jobs, and win a division title. And now Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, he's used to being able to tailor the offense to this style of quarterback. You see the same thing happening in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield.
Well, and in feeling all these changes, Suggs, Mosley, Weddle, the thing you would have bragged about the Ravens and said, well, they played a playoff game around here 8 weeks ago, was because of that. They've had literally a heart transplant on the defense, right? And not a bad heart to bring in Earl Thomas. Some thoughts about where he is in all of this and the comparisons to Ed Reed and future Hall of Famer. He's had some unfortunate injuries, but we're talking about a grown-up that they brought. Grown-ass men, as they would like to say, Sally. That's Earl Thomas looked like he's here and, like Ray Lewis, maybe pissed off for greatness.
There is no doubt. I think this is a marriage or a match made in heaven. There's no doubt. Earl Thomas understands that the Baltimore Ravens have a rich tradition of playing great defense and playing at a very high level. And they know that Earl Thomas brings tremendous football IQ and the ability to make plays and make the 10 other guys in that huddle play at a high level as well. So I just believe this is a marriage made in heaven. Look, I have all the respect for Eric Weddle, but this is an upgrade, if you could say. This is an upgrade because Earl Thomas is phenomenal. Leave it up to the Ravens to be able to make that match, and I don't see this defense going backwards at all.
There's something about the Ravens' ability to recruit, right? Going back to Rod Woodson and Marvin Lewis, bringing him in, and then finding the ways to get the Sam Adams and to get the Shannon Sharps, and later on the Trevor Prices and the Anquan Boldens and the Derek Masons and the Steve Smith. You just name all of these guys. Matt Burke. You can go through all of these secondary market guys, and Weddle was one of those guys. Mark Ingram's another guy that comes in this week with a pedigree and known as a grown up and known as a leader. The Ravens attract that, and maybe that's another reason to keep John Harbaugh around, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. I think that's a testament to this organization. And, I start with the top because Steve Bisciotti, one thing he has done when he took over after the sale and after the purchase from the Models, he kept a lot of those traditions intact in terms of how they treat the players. Everybody knows that when you go to the Ravens facility, it's beautiful, okay? It reminds you of a country club, but, they work hard and they grind, but it's a family. Coach Billick is a part of building that. Ozzie Newsome is a part of building that. And so every time they replace, whether it's the owner, when they replace the general manager, as you see now, when they replace the head coach and Coach Harbaugh, it's a seamless transition. They've kept the culture the same. That same environment is pretty much the same. The expectations of winning a championship, playing great defense, being able to run the football and being smart at the quarterback position, all of those things, the blueprint that they've built since coming to Baltimore, it remains the same despite the faces all changing.
Solly, you are out doing Your Call Football these days, and I'm on your Twitter, and I see you're doing XFL. You're out giving some speeches. You got things happening. We got the other football league playing on the week. There's a lot of football happening out there, and I know there's also a lot of thoughts about gambling and the web and where we are in the world. But you're working with Your Call Football. Introduce me. Tell me what Your Call Football is all about.
Well, I will say this. The NFL is going to be 100 years old during the 2019 season. So for the 100
I saw the commercial.
That's right. For the 100 years that we've been playing this game, there's never been more opportunities for young men to play the game professionally, whether it's NFL, XFL, Arena Football, Alliance League, and now Your Call Football. And remember, these other alternative leagues gave us a player like Kurt Warner, who became a Super Bowl MVP and current Hall of Famer, gave us a player like James Harrison, who became a Defensive Player of the Year. But Your Call Football is very unique because the fans call the plays. We put up, the head coaches, myself, of Team Grit, and the head coach of Power, my friend Merrill Hodge, we put up a bundle of plays. That means 3 plays are in a bundle. The fans get to vote on the play they want to go in. That's going to be the majority pick. That's the play that we, the head coaches, have to send in. And so it's a combination of a live Madden game, okay, gaming, and fantasy football all rolled into one. It's a unique, interactive experience for the fans. They get to participate. They call the play, and we have to run it.
Man, to be young again, huh, Sally?
Oh, absolutely. And, all you got to do is go to yourcallfootball.com, yourcallfootball.com. The game will be streaming live at 8 p.m. tonight, Monday night, at 8 p.m. live on yourcallfootball.com. In fact, you can download the app for free. It's called Your Call Football. Go to the App Store, download it for free. You can participate. And if you call a perfect game, Ness, you get to win $1 million.
Yeah, I saw the $1 million thing here, so that always gets everyone's attention, especially the week of March Madness. YCF, Your Call Football. It's a blue and white and red little logo here. You can check it out, yourcallfootball.com. Solomon Wilcots joining us here. He is also, of course, out on Twitter at Solomon's Wisdom, as well as being the coach of Team Grit. I tell you what, Team Grit looking for a quarterback. Joe Flacco was available for a 4th-round draft pick if you're willing to pay him, Solly. I don't know what the going rate is in Your Call Football, but in the NFL, John Elway signed up for Joe Flacco, and to see him do the press conference thing, a little surreal, a little wacky around here, Solly.
Oh, guess what? No, I've been telling people in Baltimore for years they need to appreciate Joe Flacco a little bit more. And guess what? In Denver they appreciate him because they remember in that overtime game in the playoffs when he drives the ball down the field to Jacoby Jones and he broke the heart of every Denver Bronco fan and took his team to the Super Bowl. And, I just think Joe's got some game left in him. I know people in Baltimore had seen enough. I still remember, though, Ness, in that playoff game against San Diego, the Boo Birds came out, and people were calling for Joe Flacco. Now, that's all I know. The last time Joe Flacco stepped foot in M&T Bank Stadium, the Ravens fans had did a turnabout, a 180. And now they're calling for him to come back. Well, now he's gone. And,
it was strange. I mean, him standing up there next to John Elway and hearing him talk about the Broncos and the and then, I wrote a Dear Joe Flacco letter, and I'm thinking, you know what? If this thing works out on his end, we're going to have to beat him at some point. And I'm wondering whether that's realistic, right? I mean, I don't want to say the Ravens thought he was washed up, but they thought he was washed, and they didn't want to pay him, and they wanted to get cheaper at the quarterback position. Is Joe Flacco going to be a playoff quarterback in Denver? Solly, if you got $1 and you got to bet on that in the next 2-3 years, is Joe Flacco going to quarterback a playoff game in Denver?
I think he's definitely better than anything they've had in recent years. They've upgraded themselves at that position. 1. 2, the guy's a player. I mean, he's been your starter since he came in as a rookie, and he's been there. And it seems like many of these teams, you always want better. Whatever you got, you seem to want better. And I've always told people, be careful what you ask for because you can end up getting something different, but that doesn't mean it's going to be better. It's really up to Joe Flacco to determine what he has left in the tank. And I think it's up to the Denver Broncos to be able to build a running game around him, get a good offensive line, which has been bad, I think, over the last couple of years. But the Ravens have not run the football. If we talk about what works for quarterbacks, what would have worked for Flacco there is a running game. Because when the Ravens have been able to have a running game around him, he's played very well. And over the last few years when it's been very inconsistent in the running game, it's not been well. Now, you and I both know 2018 season, the running game went to new heights because the quarterback was doing all the running. And so we'll have to see how they can play with this new running game and this new offense and how many receivers are running down the field wide open while Lamar Jackson is doing this thing.
You know, Solly, I had to laugh out loud when you said, might get something different, but it might not be better. I'm thinking maybe that's what John Gruden would think about Antonio Brown for Khalil Mack. or what Mike Mayock might think about watching the draft as opposed to being a participant.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, this, you pretty much, you swapped out Antonio Brown for Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. All I know is this. Khalil Mack, the team that he went to, they won a division title. Amari Cooper, the team that he went to, they won a division title. Now let's see if the Raiders can turn those picks into promise, okay? But you and I both know with Antonio Brown now, there comes some baggage. Now, he is one heck of a player. He's now the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, and we know he can play. I think he's a hard-working player. He always has been. But he likes to bring a lot of drama. He likes to go Facebook Live from the locker room.
That's a dangerous proposition, and we get rid of one guy, and then next thing we know, we wake up the next day and Odell Beckham's in Cleveland. They've had a little bit of a heart transplant as well, and I know you're down in Cincinnati. We're all a little worried about Cleveland, and I guess we should be, but I'll believe it when I see it, Solly.
Well, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, I think they're starting to trend in the right direction. They've got a quarterback who seems to have enough confidence and enough talent, enough work ethic where it ought to yield good fruit. Jarvis Landry, I think, is a stabilizing force for Odell Beckham Jr. I think the Giants, if they were to tell us the truth, they would say we needed to get him out of New York. We need to get him in a place where he could begin to focus more on football and less on the other stuff. And I think Jarvis Landry, who is a hard-working guy and a very close friend and a former college teammate of Odell Beckham Jr., I think should serve as a stabilizing force for Odell Beckham Jr. So, listen, you get a running back like Nick Chubb, okay, and you start to run the football like what I think they will be able to do when Kareem Hunt comes back from his 8-game suspension, yes, you should be worried about Cleveland.
Schedule comes out in a couple of weeks. I'll be circling the Clevelands and the Cincinnatis and the Pittsburgh. Solomon Wilcots, you can find him out at Your Call Football. Team Grit, good luck with that. And is that every Monday night you do that or just tonight?
This will be the final night. We play 4 games over 5 weeks. Team Grit is 3-0. Let's hope we can win another one tonight.
Still the champion. Solomon's wisdom can be found out on Twitter for Solomon Wilcots. Go find him at yourcallfootball.com. You can find me out on the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. The morning newspaper ships digitally to your email inbox each and every morning at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Always $5 down, $10 a month, and right around the corner and nice and warm. Even especially at night when it gets a little chilly outside, Planet Fitness is for you. Also brought to you by the Maryland Jockey Club. The entries on the front of WNST.net as well as in the aforementioned morning newspaper each and every day. Last but never least, our busiest feature is our WNST text service. Lots of comings and goings with the baseball team getting ready for opening day, Terps getting ready for March Madness, and the Ravens getting ready and me getting ready for the owners' meetings this week in Phoenix, Arizona. We'll be broadcasting live from there in the early part of next week, maybe talking about March Madness and the Terps' Sweet 16 homecoming in Washington, D.C., but still a lot of basketball ahead. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I am on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Instagram and streaming live here on our YouTube and WNST Facebook channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.